All right, welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. The 2-week walkout is over in Texas. This as the Democrats returning to the State House in Austin, Texas, over that really redistricting fight. This a post from the Texans. Brad Johnson say a new committee has this new congressional map. The biggest change he sees is the new Texas 9 goes from plus 15 to plus 20 in favor of Trump. And of course, big news today is quorum finally being met inside of that State House. Let's be joined right now by Fox 7 Austin's Rudy Koski on the ground in the Lone Star State. Rudy, thank you so much for joining us. We've talked numerous times over the last 2 weeks about what would it take to get the Democrats back in the building. What happened today and where do we stand now?
Well, simply put, as you said, they're back, and Democrats have returned. And this is what's interesting with a new relocation strategy. You know, this one involves, of course, getting out from under the Capitol dome again, not to run to a blue state, but to run to a courtroom. A group of Democrats were seen gathering around ABIA around 11 o'clock Monday morning. Their charter flight back to Texas included a bus ride to downtown Austin. When they arrived at the state capitol, supporters cheered the Democrats as they walked into the Texas House, the same legislative chamber that they walked out of 2 weeks ago.
A quorum is present.
House Speaker Dustin Burrows, now with enough members to end the contentious quorum break, indicated it was time for some fence mending.
It will withstand this too, and what will remain is a chamber where the majority has the right to prevail and the minority has the right to be heard. That has always been the mark of a functioning Texas House.
Well, I really appreciate the bipartisan nature. Look, Texas Democrats have been under attack for the last 2 weeks, whether it was bomb threats at hotels people thought we were at. We've had members have their tires slashed in front of their homes. We had over 20 members receive pizzas that were unsolicited to their homes with the Minnesota shooter's name as the sender. So it's very concerning, and we need to calm down this harmful rhetoric.
Several Republicans told me the AWOL Democrats should at least pay the $500 a day fine that they accumulated. And the Speaker's welcome home speech didn't sit very well with Midlothian Republican Brian Harrison.
Conciliatory, you're right, that was the tone, but it's the exact opposite tone. Texans wanted actions, they wanted punishments. We got absolutely nothing.
Any regrets?
Absolutely not one regret.
Representative Tony Rose and her quorum-breaking colleagues were not allowed to leave the House chamber before going to a back room. There, they had to sign a document promising to return Wednesday when the House reconvenes. And plainclothes DPS troopers were also assigned to each Democrat to shadow them.
I think it's unnecessary use of state funds. I mean, we came back. You know, our colleagues know us. They know that, I mean, if we came back today, that we're here to work. You know, we did, that was the first part of our strategy, and it's time to kick it off, just get the bill done, and then kick it over to the courts.
House Democrat Caucus Chairman Gene Wu explained why they're now in a rush to vote on a redistricting map that they originally tried to stop.
And the real issue remaining is this going to get to the court in time? Because the court has what's known as their newly created Purcell doctrine that says if it's too close to electioneering, election times, that the court will say the map is unconstitutional, but it's too late to do anything about it. You can't hold it, you can't use this map next time, but you can use it this time.
A fast-track decision from a court is no guarantee of success either. Andy, the federal trial, everyone maybe remember, or not, it's worth noting, over the 2021 map, well, that one has yet to be resolved. Testimony ended back in June, but court briefings, they're still being considered. Andy?
Yeah, we know how fast or how slow some of the judicial process has to go. And it's interesting that you mentioned in this story kind of that hall pass sort of thing. It feels like we're back in elementary school or middle school. Can I ask you about this? Because we talk about them saying that they're going after him with the FBI, the Texas Rangers. What's to stop the Democrats from fleeing again? Just a piece of paper?
Absolutely nothing. Yeah, just that piece of paper. Now, some will say that, that they're being shadowed by these DPS officers, but, it doesn't seem like that shadowing is going to be 24/7. I could be wrong on that, but still, if they wanted to slip away, they can slip away. And the big question is timing. It's all about timing. The Democrats took a big hit, even though they claimed that the Republicans were the ones that were holding up the flood response and other big issues and the hemp regulation issue. Actually, the Democrats really have the blame for that one, for walking out. That's what killed that debate. So they're smarting on that, and they know that another breakaway and not taking up flood response, not taking up the hemp regulation could be politically costly in the end, because when it gets down to a ballot box issue, Andy, seriously, this redistricting thing is more inside politics. Yep. Flood response, hemp regulation, those are things that I think voters are going to remember.
And my last question, Rudy, before I let you go, because we talk about this congressional map, how much different is it potentially than the one we saw a couple weeks ago? And are there any high-profile representatives that could be at jeopardy of losing their job or being drawn out of Congress?
No, as you mentioned at the very top of the intro, there's a little bit of tweaking. This new map is pretty much the old map that was kicked out by the House and the Senate, with a little bit of tweaking and adjustments to kind of like juice up one or two little districts that perform very well with Trump. The one thing that everyone has been talking about, all the analysts that I've been talking about, is that just because Trump did well in a lot of these South Texas districts that the Republicans are focusing in on, doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to have a solid red win there. Yeah, Trump won, but down ballot, the Democrats also picked up votes and picked up seats and stayed in office.
That is a very good point. Well, this is a major step in terms of getting back to work there in Austin. Rudy, you're always at work, but we appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox.
No problem.
All right, thank you so much. All right, great conversation as always, as really a two-week walkout is now over. Democrats back in the building, and both sides, the majority and the minority, will be heard. And we also mentioned some of those new juiced up districts. We heard from the president on social media talking about what's going on in Texas. This from Truth Social, saying the Republican state legislators in the great state of Texas, which I love, and won big 3 times, including with 6.4 million votes in 2024, just introduced a bill for one big, beautiful congressional map. Thank you to the Governor Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Speaker Dustin Burrows, and the Texas legislature for your great work. It is wonderful to see Republicans everywhere standing up to save our country. Is one of the most popular initiatives I have ever supported. Republicans love watching us fight for a great cause. Please pass the map ASAP. Thank you, Texas. Make America great again. So interesting conversations after this two-week walkout now over.